Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Kris. This is JFK Assassin final interview before his death. Shot JFK, the shocking truth. So I started it and there is some stuff at the beginning and I decided to go back. I deleted that video. Went back, I got to about here and I decided that if you're listening and you're not watching the screen, that I'm going to read all of that so that you're not wondering why there's 2 minutes of silence at the beginning of the video and just music. So, but if you could subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, both free options. Thanks button. If you click on that, that isn't a free option. You donate to the channel, request a video, your name sponsors that video. You can still request without donating. It just takes a little bit more time. This video was a requested video. Okay, I'm going to pause it, read it, in case you're not by your phone and you're just listening or whatever, you're working. So here goes. I'm going to adjust the quality real fast. Sorry. In 1989, a private eye based in Houston, Texas, named Joe West, launched an investigation to find the true assassins of President John F. Kennedy. West, like the majority of Americans, was convinced there was a conspiracy involving others besides Lee Harvey Oswald. West eventually received a tip from an FBI agent who at first asked to remain anonymous. This tip led West to a Stateville Correctional Center in Illinois and a prisoner named James E. Files, who was and still is serving time for attempted murder of a police officer. Back to the dope music. Through months of personal visits and detailed correspondence, West earned Files' trust, and Files began revealing his alleged participation in JFK's assassination. Tragically, West became ill and died suddenly in 1993. I don't really know if that's tragically, if he says he killed a president. Nothing tragic about him dying. That didn't say that. Sorry, that was just, let's go back. No more ad-libbing, Kris. Tragically, West became ill and died suddenly in 1993, but West's associates recorded Files stating that he was the shooter on the grassy knoll in Daley Plaza on November 22nd, 1963, and that it was he who delivered the fatal shot to JFK's right temple. Files also implicated organized crime members Charles Nicoletti, Johnny Roselli, and Sam Giancana, who were all murdered in the 1970s. I read a book on, this is not in there, I read a book on Sam Giancana. I have no doubt that he was somehow involved in it because I believe even though he's dead, he's somehow making money off of me. That's how involved he was in a lot of things. Back to the script. After a planned network TV special featuring Files claims he was abruptly canceled in 1994, Zach Shelton, the FBI agent who originally led West to Files, came forward. With the support of Dutch businessman Wim Dankbar, he conducted a new investigation and found Files to be highly credible, despite official FBI statements to the contrary. Seeking to bring Files' confession to the American public, Dankbar arranged a full on-camera interview with Files and later hired veteran investigative reporter Robert Kivat. That's me butchering the name. That's not the script butchering the name. To create a feature documentary condensing the confession. We now present this to you for the first time and leave the judgment of James E. Files and his confession to your discretion. Good job, Kris. You did a really good job. People now think you can read. You did awesome. Props to you. Let's just take a minute to say how great of a job I did learning words. Good job for you, Kris. Hey, get in here. Get up there.
I went down like a week before the assassination. The purpose of that was for me to go to Dallas, look over the area, learn dead-end streets, railroad crossings, time for train crossings. They already knew the regular motorcade route that he would be taking.
President's car is now turning onto Elm Street, and it will be only a matter of minutes before he arrives at the trademark.
I said, well, the spot I like best is up on the grassy knoll behind that stockade fence. He says, why there? I said, I got the railroad yard for cover at 100.
A lot of people are missing out on the best shot.
Stockade fence. He says, why there? I said, I got the road.
Right there behind that tree. No one would have seen you. Not a single person. Right there behind that tree. I think that the shooter was actually behind that tree. I could be wrong. That's what I believe.
Road yard for cover at 100 feet. I'm talking about we're shooting now from the grassy knoll down to the highway to the street there. We're talking roughly 30, 35 yards. We're only talking 100 feet. This is like shooting fish in a barrel. As I was walking away, he told me, don't run. He said, just walk away natural, Jimmy. He said, don't show no attention.
The President of the United States is dead. It's official, as of just a few moments ago.
There was nobody behind that stockade fence but me at that point. Nobody. All the time I was there, I was alone.
I'm fully announced North Parkland Hospital, coming to the approach. The officer waiting me down. He's waving me around. There's a cordon. There's already a cordon of police officers.
A bullet right through the head.
I didn't shoot anybody, sir. I haven't been told what I'm here for.
Do you have a lawyer?
No, sir, I don't. No, they're taking me in because of the fact that I live in the Soviet Union. I'm just a patsy.
There's the man with a gun.
I'm fixing to lose my fill of fire. And at this point, either I shoot or I can put it in a suitcase and leave, one or the other. I took the shot.
What is your real name?
My real name is James Sutton.
And you were born when?
I was born January 24th, 1942 in Alabama. And if you find my birth certificate, it will plainly state deceased at birth.
How was that arranged?
I have no idea, but I was trying to get a birth certificate for my own records, and they could not locate one at first. And the lawyer in Alabama went through everything, went to the Capitol, and when he got through, he found it 3 months later I had a birth certificate in there that says deceased at birth.
Now, can the mob do something like that, or is that the government?
That's only the government. Mob knows a lot of things. They got ways to get things done, but when it comes into this kind of stuff, that's out of their category. I'm gonna tell you, when it comes to government and underhanded work, the mob, they're kindergarten. They're kindergarten. I might upset a lot of people in the family saying that, but they're kindergarten when it comes to working with the government.
Can't say I disagree with that one. Cannot say I disagree.
Is it true that during the Clinton administration that you were presented as a threat to national security?
That was in 1998. Historian for the 82nd Airborne.
Did he just say 1998? Didn't he die in 93?
98.
Presented as a threat to national security.
That was in 1998.
I thought he said he died in 93. So sorry. Sorry, I was just looking for a comment to see if... Okay, so I'm a little confused. So I'm going to guess the introduction had the year wrong, that he did not die in 98. 98. Got me thinking of 98. Maybe he died in 2003 instead of 1993?
Historian for the 82nd Airborne. He was doing a lot of research area on me. His name was John Grady. But he did a lot of research on me and checked through a lot of people, found out to me to be credible.
Unless he meant to say 88 instead of 98. But he's talking about Clinton, and Clinton would have been president in 92. He would have been governor. Would he have been governor in the 80s?
I had a lot of things that him and I discussed. He come here to visit me. And when him and I was corresponding, he was approached by the Secret Service. And they warned him that I was a threat to national security. And in 1998, I don't remember what month it was, but Janet Reno and President Bill Clinton at that time declared me as a threat to national security. It was basically for training manuals and formulas and information they retrieved out of one of my storage sheds when they raided it.
Boy, today under Homeland Security, they probably have you as a terrorist threat, since you know how to make bombs.
That could be. I know there is a U.S. Marshals detaining on me at this time.
U.S. Marshals what?
There is a U.S. Marshals detaining on me at this time.
What does that mean?
That means the day I walk out of here, the U.S. Marshals will be here to pick me up. They want to talk to me. There is no outstanding charges. There's no charges against me. What they have against me is a detainer. All they want to do is talk to me. What they want to know is they want to be notified when I leave here, in other words. When Joe West first originally contacted me here at Stateville Prison, I was on a visit. The counselor came in the visiting room.
Okay, wait a minute. Is the guy that I'm thinking that tragically died, was that not this guy? It was the guy who was trying to set up the interview, maybe? Because I'm a little confused still. Doesn't matter. I'm still listening to his story. I don't know. Yep,
Where I was at,
hit the button
and
once.
stated that she wanted me to come out and make a phone call. I told him, you have 3 minutes to convince me why I should talk to you. As Joe started talking to me, I told him, I said, whoa, stop. I said, you're on a lot of touchy spots. I said, these phone calls are recorded. Every phone call going in and coming out is recorded. If you want to talk to me that bad, then I suggest you come and visit me. Joe West had me put him on his visiting list. He come up to visit me. The first day, I wouldn't even talk to him about the Kennedy situation. We got into sports, weather, generally about prison, local things till I got comfortable with him. The next day, after I thought it over all night, Joe West seemed like a pretty nice guy. I really liked Joe. He had a magnetism about him. The next day we sat down, we got serious, and then we started talking. Oh, I asked him, he said that someone had informed him that I was there. He said he had a reliable source. And I didn't know for quite a while who that source was. It was quite some time later before I learned the fact that the FBI was aware of my presence as early as 1964. Because I never knew that anyone ever knew about me. But Zach Sheldon, from what I understand, and I'm only quoting this from hearsay, that Zach was the one that stated and gave me to Joe West the information on me, that I was in Dealey Plaza. Well, the whole thing is, like with Joe West died. He passed away never knowing that I was one of two shooters there in Dealey Plaza that day. Joe West never knew I was on the grassy knoll. Joe West had the case in court.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Joe, okay.
Wanted to exhume John F. Kennedy's body. And that's what he was fighting for. And at this point, when I talked to Joe West, I explained to him that John F. Kennedy had been hit in the head with a mercury round, a special load. At this point, I explained to him he can use this in the courts to have the body exhumed because there would still be traces of mercury, because the traces of mercury do not disappear. It'll always be there. And so this is what Joe West wanted to go back with more evidence and use this to get Kennedy's body exhumed, to look for traces of mercury.
And the court had accepted his case.
The court had accepted his case. But with his death, the case died. I've been drinking this water for the past 12 years with radium in it, so has every prisoner here. We wasn't aware of the water situation until Oliver Stone come along to make a movie here. And when he made his movie here, we see all these people from the movie company running around carrying bottles of water. Even the officers that worked here, they got suspicious. And that's when we started finding out this water's unhealthy.
Did you actually meet with Oliver Stone?
I met Oliver Stone 3 times. Matter of fact, I have a paper that Joe West, not Joe West, but Bob Vernon had Oliver Stone sign. Now, Bob Vernon come in after the Joe West deal. Bob Vernon took over for Joe West. Bob Vernon met with Oliver Stone, and he had him sign an agreement where they wanted to get me on film, but I refused to do that. I met with Oliver Stone 3 times.
And you never told him your story?
No, I did not tell Oliver Stone my story. I refused to discuss it with him. And like I said, I've got a copy of this. I got Oliver Stone's signature. Bob Vernon's the only signature on it. It states what it's all about. The only thing missing is my signature, because I would never sign that paper for the agreement.
Why was that?
I didn't like the man.
Case closed.
Case closed. And if you'd like, I'd be more than happy to send you a copy of the document. And it's got Oliver Stone's original signature on it. And it has Bob Vernon's signature on it. The first time that I knew about anything being planned on Kennedy, I'd heard a lot of rumors that nobody liked Kennedy. They wanted to kill Kennedy. They wanted to assassinate him. They wanted to do everything to the man.
Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, to assure the survival and the success of liberty.
I was upset with him over the Bay of Pigs, but I never paid any attention to any of this at first, because, everybody talks. Somebody gets mad at somebody, and right away, I'm going to take this guy out, I'm going to take that person out, woo, 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 a lot of barking, junkyard dogs barking, But I was sitting in the Harlow Grill that evening, playing the pinball machine, not the flipper kind, the kind with numbers where you gamble on and you put about $10 in to play a game. And Charles Nicoletti walked in, a man that I did a lot of work with, a man that I respected. And he walked in the back room where I was at, says, "Jimmy, let's go." I said, "I'll be with you in a minute." He reached over and tilted the machine and said, "Let's go now." My reply was, "Yes, sir, Mr. Nicoletti." I knew he wasn't in no mood to wait and hang around. He said, I want to talk to you. I went out, I got in this car, and we went for a ride. And he told me, he says, we're going to do a friend of yours. I'm talking about President Kennedy, JFK. And I looked at him and I said, what? He says, JFK. He says, your buddy. I said, well, he just busting, giving me a hard time when he knew JFK. He knew how much I disliked the man. And I looked at him and I laughed. I said, okay, fine with me. You get in arguments there. And at this point, I still kind of thought, he was just joking with me. But then he got real serious about it. So then we started talking, and he told me, he says, what I'm going to want you to do, he says, I'm going to look around. He says, we'll search the area around the town here. He says, you know everything pretty good, he says, and see where we're going to do it at, what kind of weapons we're going to need, and other things like that, he says. And he mentioned, he said he was going to bring Johnny Roselli in on it. Fine with me, I don't care who we work with. I like Johnny, I had no problems with him.
I am not about to insult his sunglasses, because that would be murder coming towards me. But I wouldn't wear them. But I feel like he's looking right at me.
And originally we'd planned to do it in the Chicago area, but certain people didn't like that idea. Certain people high up in organized crime, they wasn't too happy about the idea of having something like that happen to that magnitude in their backyard, because they figured Bobby would really be down there. They already had their own little private wars going. So then we put it off, and this is like 6 months before the assassination ever really took place. So we decided, well, we'd take it moving. So I had no idea it was going to Texas at that point, because they didn't know where he was going to go. They were looking for an area to go. They had several different locations. There was New Orleans, and I don't know, there's other places he was going to. But when it come down to it, I had been told there was places that they had planned to do it. Other people had been authorized, stuff like that. Just different rumors you hear. How much credibility is to it, I cannot say.
And describe the car.
The car was a 63 Chevy two-door Burgundy, Chevy Impala.
With the special compartments.
Oh, we had the special compartment, the dash. We had the back seats, you could take that off, pull the bottom part out, then you raise the back up, snap it off the little clamps, take that out. We had the springs removed behind the seat there by it. And we had little racks welded in there so we could mount weapons in there.
Okay, so now you got your weapons, you got your loads, you got your car. How did it come together after that?
Well, just before I left, final instructions was, Chuck told me, he said, I want you to leave first thing in the morning. He says, and I don't want you driving at night. He said, I want you on the highway with a lot of traffic during daytime where nobody pays any attention to you.
Let's go back. Give me a date or approximate date.
I don't remember the approximate date, but I went down like a week before the assassination. I want to say I was in Dallas, in the Dallas area, 5 days before the assassination took place.
And what was the purpose of that?
The purpose of that was for me to go to Dallas, look over the area, learn dead-end streets, railroad crossings, time for train crossings. They already knew the regular motorcade route that he would be taking, and they had already looked that over, and they wanted to see if there's any better places, and a lot of people had already decided on. I'm not the one that chose Dealey Plaza, but I was told to look it over very close and look and see if I thought there's any other place better. And I did the whole area from the route they had. All the way through, I had Lee Harvey Oswald with me.
Did you call anybody when you got to Dallas?
I made 2 telephone calls when I got there. I called Charles Nicoletti, told him that I was on the scene and where I was at in case he had to reach me. I turned around and made another phone call. I called David Atlee Phillips. I had a number to call. The call was put through to David Phillips, and he was notified where I was at, because I had not told him in advance that I was going to Dallas, Texas, because he always had to know where I was at because he was my controller. CI purposes, special operations, or something that might be needed done. We always stayed in contact. We had numbers to call. He said, thank you, and let it go at that. We didn't have any great discussion on the phone. I told him where I was at, the location, and through David Atlee Phillips is the only way that Lee Harvey Oswald could have known where I was at. I was staying at the Lamplighter Inn right there in Mesquite, Texas.
And then the next thing you knew, Lee Harvey Oswald showed up.
The following morning, Lee Harvey Oswald was there. When he knocked on the door, I opened the door and I was shocked to see him, because I didn't think anybody knew where I was at except for the other 2 people. Because Charles Nicoletti had never met Lee Harvey Oswald.
You didn't know him?
He did not know him. I had known Lee Harvey Oswald prior to that. I knew him from earlier operation that we was on with David Phillips when I was running semi-automatic 45 caliber submachine guns down to Clinton, Louisiana. They were made, I think they were manufactured by Knoxville Arms. I met Lee Harvey Oswald through David Adley Phillips. When I got down there, he introduced me to Lee. And he also instructed me that Lee could be trusted and that he was Lee's controller. He made it as a statement because I wanted to know who we was dealing with and who I was getting.
All right, sorry about that. It hits a certain time of the day and my dogs have to be fed. They start going into panic mode.
Weapons to. He also explained to me that he was Lee Harvey Oswald's controller, the same as he was mine. That he was always in contact with Lee Harvey Oswald. Through common sense tells me the only one that could have sent Lee Harvey Oswald to me was David Adley Phillips. And so I asked Lee, I says, what the hell are you doing here? Because I was shocked, you know. He said, I was advised to drop by and spend some time with you and see if I could help you out. I said, help me out? He said, yes. He says, somebody wants me to show you the area. And I said, okay, just come on in. So he come on in, so we sit down and we talked, and I said, I'll be with you in a few minutes. And I was young and cocky at that time, and I'd just come out of the shower and everything, and I was calling my hair, so I had a camera there, so I told Lee, I said, hey, make a couple of pictures while I'm here in Texas. And so Oswald made a couple of pictures of me, and then he said, let me have the film, I'll get it developed. I said, no. I said, I get the whole roll of film. So that was how I got a couple of pictures made that people have recently asked me about. We drove around Dallas, Lee Harvey Oswald and I, we drove around Dallas right before the assassination. I did not see Lee Harvey Oswald on the morning of the assassination, but prior to that, Lee Harvey Oswald had been with me every day. We drove around, he showed me different streets, different areas. He was the one that took me out to the place southeast of Mesquite there, next to a big junkyard. We went out there in the field, he said, ain't nobody gonna bother you out here, you know, because I wanted to calibrate the scopes for not only for the fireball, but for other weapons as well. And while I was out there firing weapons and ejecting shell casings, Lee was picking them up and holding them in his hand. But I didn't want to leave no casings or nothing behind, and I'm busy firing, so I looked at Lee, grab them casings. And that's what he did. He picked them and he held on to them until we got released. I calibrated my scopes, set things up, put the stuff back in the car, and we got back in. We went riding around, and I wanted to know the railroad crossings. I wanted to wait and see what time trains come through. I want to know if there's any passengers, if there was freight trains, they stopped, the track's going to be blocked, intersection's going to be blocked, dead-end streets, construction work, where every intersection was at, where all the lights were at, how long the lights were, they stayed red. I wanted all these little details. He worked in the book depository stores, what he told me. I was never in that place, but he had time off to come out and spend time with me, and then I would drop him off in the area and he would go somewhere, and I guess that's where he went. I had never asked him where he went, what he done, who he saw.
The world will never know the true facts of what occurred, my motives. The people that had so much to gain and had such an ulterior motive for putting me in a position I'm in will never let the true facts come above board to the world.
Now these people are in very high positions, Jack?
Yes.
I had met Johnny Roselli before.
We're going to go back right there. Okay. I can't give an honest opinion right now of this guy because it's still early. But I'm listening. This is one of the conspiracies, and I've said it before, I'm not dug in on any side. I could listen to this and be like, yeah, he probably did kill him. And then I could listen to Clint Hill, the Secret Service agent that was there, who believes it was just Lee Harvey Oswald, and I'd say, yeah, okay, I believe Clint Hill. Like, I'm I'm not dug in for anything. Probably, I don't know. I don't know why. There's a few topics like that. I don't know. Okay, well, we're going to end this here. This is part 1 of 4. So we will be back with part 2. But until then, have a good day, have a good night. By the way, before I end this, before you leave, when this goes on, tell me, do you think he's telling the truth? Do you believe him? Do you think it was the mob? There's a, let's see. No. There's a mob guy who said he has a channel. Francesi. Anyways, he says it was a mob guy. I don't know. So anyways, I'm going to end this here. Have a good day. Have a good night.